All right, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Here we go, brother. Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome,
Yep.
welcome to H&M Sports Academy
Wild card week.
Wild Card Week Playoff Edition. My name is Mo. This is Harry. I am wearing all black today because my Cowboys are dead in the water. Harry is decked out in all of his Bears paraphernalia, all of his gear. He's got his bobblehead dolls lined up, the voodoo dolls, everything set in place for a big playoff weekend.
Man, I'm so excited. I've had anxiety all week, man. I done studied my film. I feel good about where we are, but I think anybody who's in the playoffs never feels great, right? Because each moment, each play could decide the football game. But man, I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling, like I said, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here today. Because last year this time, it was a disaster.
A lot of question marks too.
Yeah, a lot of question marks. We had just started our head coaching search. So to be where we are here today, I feel lucky, even though it's high pressure, high intensity football. I'm ready for it. So
awesome, brother. Awesome. Yeah. We will be going for it, and we will be cheering because there is a stake in this game. The Dallas Cowboys own the Green Bay Packers first round pick, and the earlier they go to Cancun, the earlier they pick, and the higher the Cowboys draft. So
that's right.
Go Bears. I will say I have my concerns. The playoffs are unfriendly to a lot of people, so I'm worried. But that's my analyst hat. My cheerleader fan hat says, man, Chicago needs to dust these dudes off real quick and send them home. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's my sentiment too. Sometimes, and we'll get into it. But sometimes, you got to slay the dragon, and I think the regular season win it gave us that feeling. But in the course of an NFL season, it's like the Detroit, like the cockroaches, man, they pop back up. Gotta get rid of them, and this is our chance to. Instead of looking at it from a negative light, this is our chance to send them home and break their hearts. The way they've broken ours quite a few times here. So
for sure,
I'm ready, man. Yeah.
So we're gonna do a quick Q&A. We know the games are getting ready to kick off here soon, and we want to push this stuff out. We're gonna do a quick Q&A. We're gonna kind of hit a little bit on each of the teams that's playing. The first matchup of the day is the Los Angeles Rams traveling to the East Coast to play the Carolina Panthers, a rematch. A rematch of only a couple of weeks ago, in which the Rams came out to Carolina, and they played well. They moved the ball offensively, but Stafford had some turnovers, some bad plays in the end zone. The Rams were able to run. I'm sorry, the Panthers were able to run the ball and control that game. So we're going to hit that game. We're going to talk, obviously, tonight's game, big matchup, primetime matchup. Bears at home hosting the Packers. Tomorrow we have the Bills. I'm sorry,
Bills and the Jags, man. You got Bills, Jags.
Yeah, the Bills going to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. We have the Los Angeles Chargers going on the East Coast to play the New England Patriots. So we're back in the playoffs after about a 5-6 year hiatus.
Right.
And then you have the big match up there between the San Francisco 49ers going to Philly. They've seen each other. That's bad blood all day right there. And then we wrap up on Monday with the Monday night game. The Steelers are hosting the Houston Texans. And
that's another big game. That's another huge game. This lineup is amazing, man. It's so many storylines. Oh my god,
it's a great lineup, man. The only real this first game, it feels like this first game is the one where like, okay, the Rams can pull away, but the Panthers just beat the Rams, so they looking at it like hold up.
Yeah, they didn't just beat them. Remember, they bullied them at home.
Yeah, they did. Right? They were very physical.
Yeah,
very physical. Let's get into that real quick. Let's kick this off.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's kick this off there. Cue it up, baby. Let's go. And we'll start with the Rams here. With this game, and this one, you got Matthew Stafford, who's on, pushing for, a mini GOAT status. I mean, his career is incredible. And you got a Hall of Famer to be in Devontae Adams. You got Puka Nacua. You got a loaded offensive roster. You got a team on Rams that are good defensively. And then you got the young upstart Carolina team that's physical. They got a huge offensive line. They got 2 running backs that get downhill. They got a quarterback that ain't bigger than Frodo. So he Lord of the Rings type dude. But they got big receivers. Leggett, Tetero McMillan, who's already showing. So that's the backdrop here. What do you see with this game, real quick? What do you see with this one?
Man, I see a game. I think it's going to be really competitive. One, sometimes styles make fights, right? And that first game, the Chargers, they like to run that wide zone scheme. McVay comes with a lot of exotic, what I call just play calling, but they're rooted in physicality, right?
The Panthers?
No, the Rams. They got a lot of two tight end, 3 tight end sets. When Devontae went down, they went to a bunch of the 3 tight end sets.
They did.
And still very creative and just as explosive.
Yeah.
So, it kind of leans into what I think Carolina does well, which is, kind of defend that run and play a physical style of football. So that's when I say the style makes the fight, is because they have it's physical on physical.
Yeah.
I know the reality of I went and watched the Tampa Bay Bucks and Dolphins when I went home on vacation. So I was actually keeping the pace with the Panthers, because the Bucks, they were fighting to get in. Those 2 teams were fighting to get in the playoffs.
That's right.
And it felt like, even though Carolina's they're backing into the playoffs, so it's a little bit of a downer how they got in. But hell, like Herman would say, just get us on the bus, man. So you're on the bus. You just beat this team. And the pressure is off because nobody expects you to beat them, right? This is one of those games where it feels like what should happen is a dominant performance by the Rams, and I'm just not seeing it. I think Bryce Young is game. I think, McMillan and Rico Dowdle, those are every big game they played, they showed up very well.
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard. And I think David Canales is an elite play caller. I think he comes in and they just can't let the game get away from them and get down, because they love to run the football. Yeah. And even when they get down, remember when we were talking about it when they were playing you guys, when they played the Dolphins and they got down for 14, 21 points, something like that.
They were down 17 points in the fourth quarter and still came back.
And they continue to run the football. So that's why I think this game will be close. Is just because of, David Canales, even though he's a younger coach, I think he's rooted in the run game. Yeah. Bryce Young, as small and as slight as he is, I think he's from a passing standpoint. Once he gets it going, he gets a hot hand, he throws a great ball. I think he'll be a good ball. He'll be competitive, and he's not scared. The Rams feel like like I say, the more dominant team. They have all the pieces. The question is, can they put it all together? They had a very, very, I don't know if you saw it, but that Atlanta Monday night game, they came out and they looked super flat. And I might attribute it to them knowing they already in the playoffs. And, I think at the time they were still trying to fight for a 2 or 1 seed, but still.
They were in to win the division still.
Yeah, they laid an egg. So it's in that, every team can do it. I'm not going to, judge them off one football game, but I will say from a schematic standpoint, the Carolina Panthers actually do what's best to win a game, which is basically keep the ball away from Matt Stafford, right? Yeah. If they can control that clock, shorten the game up with their run game, and hit on some big plays, and get after Stafford. Last game, they got after Stafford, sacked him a few times, and that's the only way to get him off his square. Guys like Stafford, Brady, Burrow, if you can get around them, put some pressure on them, hit them, to make them not as comfortable in that pocket, to try to get a few stops. Carolina is actually one of the teams that's built to do it, and they actually showed and proved that they could do it when they played head to head.
You know, they're getting their corners back too. They're getting what's his name? Horn? Is it corner?
Yeah. Horn.
Yeah, so they're getting their corners back. And those guys they're sticky out there. They hunt interceptions. They turned Purdy over like 4 times in one game. Like they can go after you, and get after you a little bit in that aspect. And I just think that you know, I look at the Rams and they're kind of like one of those bully teams that kind of get after you and kind of get downhill. And if they can do that, they can kind of run you off the field real quick, you know, if you're not careful with them. But if you can take a punch, and you deliver a blow to them, you know, a physical team, a team that will fight and get into a rock fight with them, they don't like that. I mean, it's simple as almost the city of Los Angeles versus Charlotte. You know what I mean? It really those two types of areas. You know what I'm saying? And so they both kind of represent their. Now, it's not like the Rams don't play defense. I'm not saying they're soft in that aspect. No. They get down. They got pass rushers, and they got some dudes in the middle too. That they don't suck in that aspect. But this is a unique matchup where I think that there's 1 or 2 ways that Carolina can beat the Rams. I think the Rams have more ways to beat Carolina.
Right.
But there's a path for both teams. So it'll be very interesting here. I would say if I had to pick though, I would say the Rams will pull it out. I think they learned some lessons from the first time and they'll be able to pull it out.
I agree. I'm going Rams in this game. They got a little bit of weather. And a little bit of rain, but I think that's clearing up. Yeah. I agree with you with them being as physical as they are. They also got a very finesse side to them as well.
Yeah.
I don't think they love to get in and knock down, drag out physical fights. They'd rather knock you out. Yeah. But they also, I think their defense is opportunistic, right? I don't think it's a lights out defense. It's almost, you know, feast or famine. Every team has warts in the playoffs. I think their defense is as talented as it is also they have some breakdowns, and they I think schematically you can scheme them up and get some scores. We saw Seattle do it. We saw the Rams do it. I know Bijan and Atlanta and all those guys were that was their swan song. But some of the plays that they were able to pull off and some of the things they were able to do, I was a little bit surprised with the Rams giving that up. So.
Well, you know, the Rams got kind of small corners too. So I think McMillan and Leggett, those dudes are big dudes. There's some physicality to it. So it's ironic, you know, your quarterback is undersized, but dudes on the other end are not. You know what I'm saying?
Man, they showed a picture of Bryce Young in the huddle, man. It looked like he was surrounded by damn giants, man. He in there just looking all tiny. So
I looked at that, man. I ain't know Junior got drafted already.
Hey, he actually he drops back damn near like 12 yards. Right. So that's something else I want our fans to look at. How does he see? How does he get the ball out? Yeah. He has one of the deepest drops in the NFL. And he also is a little bit more slippery and savvy in that pocket than you would think. So in the land of giants, he knows how to navigate it.
He's been doing it his whole life.
Yeah, he's been doing it his whole life. So it's an interesting kind of I guess, like you said, just the makeup when you talk about the makeup of the team.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I'm with you. I'm going Rams. They took a very tough loss to the Eagles in the NFC Championship game last year. So I think for them, they're coming with a little bit of an edge to get back, trying to get back. So I'm going Rams there.
All right. Let's move on here. Big game, primetime game. Packers, Bears, World War III.
Man.
In 5 weeks, very, very rarely has this happened in 5 weeks. I think back in 2010 when the Cowboys beat the Eagles in the playoffs, they had played them. I think they had played them back-to-back weeks. They played them the last game of the season and then the first game of the playoffs.
Right.
And so very rarely do you have these short turnarounds where you play them and then you see them so quickly. So that has something to do on top of the fact that, no love lost already within the division. There's so many layers to this on top of, the recency of it, the people who were out versus not. Man, so many different things. The weather, both teams are cold weather teams, but the weather does, it has an effect there. Let me ask you this. Can the Chicago Bears impose their will physically and run the ball, or will they open it up because now you got Rome Odunze back, you got more healthy, and attack the corners and so forth of the Packers, because Caleb Williams is, I don't want to say he's on a heater, he's just a good ass quarterback. You know what I'm saying? What do you do right there? What do you think?
Yes. Okay. I say balance. I say balance, all of the above. And the reason why I say this, and I've been thinking about it, both teams are coming in on losing streaks. I think the Packers have lost 4 straight. The Bears have lost 2. Coming into this game, and each with a little different story as to why they kind of hit those streaks. For the Packers, injuries. I think just losing Micah. Then losing Love when we played them in our second matchup at home, put them in that situation where I think that aided in their losing streak. For us, we just went through a stretch of 4 really good teams that we played that I talked about, right? To get us ready for this moment. And when I look at it, when you ask that question, what is it going to take for us to win? I text you, and I got a timestamp on it so you can tell our listeners I'm actually telling the truth. In that Detroit game, I sent you a text maybe midway through the second quarter. And I'm like, this game plan is so vanilla, man. It almost looked like we throwing this game a little bit. And you sent me a few messages back, asking why I thought that, and I thought about it for a little bit, and I think this is what Ben was thinking at that moment. He knew we were going to play either somebody that we had just played, right? Whether it be the 49ers, Eagles, Packers. So he didn't want to show too much, but I think what he wanted to see was just execution, right? And can we execute the basics of what we're trying to do against a team that had nothing to truly play for, which was the Lions, other than, the pride of beating us twice in one season.
And they played
they played really hard. And long story short, we laid an egg. Offensively, we didn't play great football. Again, like in true Bears fashion, we turned it on in the fourth quarter. But when you ask that question, do we have to pass? Do we have to run? Both, right? We were trying to, this is a tune-up to where our offense is our best side of the football. And in order for us to advance in these playoffs, I think Ben understands the offense is going to be the juggernaut behind what we do. Similar to the Saints, when they had Drew Brees and some of these other, what I call high-powered offenses, where the defense was almost opportunistic and just, enough to get off the field and timely moments, but we can't lean on our defense. So we learned that just coming out of the last 4 games of the season as to who's going to be the engine behind making us go into a deep playoff run. Offensively, we went into both Packers games shorthanded. This game, we don't. Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Monangai, Swift, Kmet. Let's go, right? They came in.
Back?
Is who?
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus is back. So we fully loaded.
He's back also?
He's back also. So we got a full.
You got the full complement, man.
We got the full complement. And I think, watching Green Bay's last 4 games, as great as they were early in the season in their defense, those last 4 games, they got people ran on them, people threw on them. They really couldn't stop much of anything, if we're being honest. And for us, in order for us to win this game, we got to have a big game from Ben, and we got to have a big game from 18, aka Iceman, aka Caleb Saquon Williams. We need you to show up big time. That's why we go. That's why you get the number 1 pick. That's why you go and spin and go after Ben Johnson. And in that Detroit game, in the end, and I wanted to talk to you about this because in the first quarter, he goes after it and doesn't take points, and we get stopped, right? In the fourth quarter, with 3 minutes left and it's 4th and 5 with the game on the line, he punts. And Detroit comes down and scores and kicks. And they did a cutaway to Ben Johnson. And you see him talking into his mic, and he says, damn, I should have went for it, right? And we talked about these last 4 games being the barometer and being the litmus test for us to move forward. And I think in those moments, in that moment, he looked and he said, I ain't going to never do that again. I'm not going out with my defense, not because they're not a great defense, or they're a bad defense. Our strength is our offense. If we go out, we got to go out there, because defensively, we don't have the pass rush. And I've been saying it, it's not a secret. We can't get after the pass rusher well enough to be able to, trust that we can stop someone when it comes to those type of moments. And I'm not saying we get careless or frivolous.
And no turnover either. That's not a controllable substance, a controllable outcome that you can predict there.
Correct. But at the end of the day, I said all that to say, I think through those 4 games, he learned we can go in a shootout. I can run the football. I can pass the football, but it all depends on how clean we play, limiting penalties, and then being able to, not shoot ourselves in the foot. I will say this also, in those games, Ben got a little too cute, right? Not taking points. I think in this game today, he needs to set the tone. And if we get up early where we can get some field goals, let's take the field goals. And the big piece around being able to win these games and why we play in these close games is because at the end of the games, we're taking 3, right? Mm-hmm. Because the analytics say in order for you to get back in this game, you need 3 points. Mm-hmm. If they ran those same analytics in the first quarter, it would tell you the same thing. In order for you to win these games, you should be taking points here as opposed to risking it and coming away with 0, because these games go by, the time goes by quickly, and you end up looking up like, man, I could use that. I could have used that 3. I could have used 6 points, right? Yeah. So short story short, yes, we need to run. We need to pass. I say we do whatever we need to do to move the ball. But I think from a running standpoint, I would like to see us establish the run and come off play action and utilize the run and use play action to loosen them up a bit.
It's so fascinating, man. The Micah Parsons effect. He comes there, and the Packers were a pretty good run defending team. Last year and earlier, and then Parsons comes, and it's like, okay, they can defend the run and obviously get out the quarterback, and then he's not there anymore, and all of a sudden it feels like, man, Green Bay doesn't defend the run as well. They don't, they're not obviously getting to the pass. It's almost like he is so talented. He creates a false sense of security almost that you have, and that you lose that when he's not there, and all of a sudden people get exposed. And I'm, as a Cowboy, I saw this effect that he has. And the reason is just, remember, a long time ago I talked about the first 2 seconds on a defensive play belongs to the secondary. The next 2 seconds belong to the pass rush, and the last 2 seconds is on the middle of your defense to rally and tackle. With Micah Parsons, he's one of the few people in the league in which the first 2 seconds can actually be from the front. Okay. Right. And because of that, it makes it easier for the secondary, because they literally may not even have to cover for 2 seconds. He can get to the quarterback and affect the quarterback 1001, 1002, and he's already turning the corner, right?
Right. Yeah.
When you start to get used to that, and it's not there anymore, when you get to second 2 and 3 and 4, and he's not getting there. Yeah. The secondary is like, bro, we need help. You know what I'm saying? And
I agree.
And so quickly. So it's very interesting to see, from the Packers side of it, how they have made this adjustment these last 4 games without him. And then obviously they're going to get Love back, and they're going to get a little bit more healthier. Josh Jacobs is going to be, rested and stuff like that. So everyone, all hands on deck. Right. In this game, I will say this: I am pulling for the Bears to pull this game out and win this game. I'm still very concerned. The Green Bay Packers have a little bit of a boogeyman with them. That they have. They do. I'm really concerned about that in that aspect. So we shall see. in this game.
Yeah,
we shall see. Let's continue on though. Tomorrow we have a full slate, and we'll just go right down the stretch here. We'll go with the Patriots hosting the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes,
I love this game because the two quarterbacks in this game, people kind of look at them very similar. Drake May and Justin Herbert. I think people feel like Drake May is ahead of schedule because he's already in the MVP race. And Herbert is, he's that dude. He's got all of the measurables. He's got this left hand injury he's been trying to work through. You got Harbaugh and Vrabel, two very similar types of coaches. What do you see with this game right here? The Patriots got this great record, but man, they haven't beat a damn team. They have the lightest schedule almost in the history of the NFL.
Right, and that's why I was smiling a little bit because I said this is almost, if anybody a 7 seed who you didn't want to see walking in your building, and I hate to piggyback back to the Bears game, but I know what you said about that boogeyman.
Yeah.
But even I agree with the statement. Yeah. But that's the best team for us to play. When you really go through outside of Carolina, if I had to pick a team who matched up in the first round, I would take the Packers, right? And in New England's case, I would think they man, I would rather deal with anybody else because the Chargers were hurt early in the year. Yeah. And the reason they're a 7 seed is because of the injuries. Herbert actually broke a line. Yeah, Herbert broke 2 fingers in his hand. He gutted his way through it.
Yeah.
But they actually had to change up their style of play. And their offensive line play was terrible at one point. Yeah. One due to injuries and some of it due to execution, I think, just because those guys weren't, hadn't played together a lot. But a guy like Harbaugh is one of the worst, when I say worst, coaches you want to deal with in the playoffs, because he's coming with nothing but the hammer. He's going to run that football. He's going to have the defense juiced up. And Drake May, I'm not going to sit here and take anything away from him because he's an MVP candidate. He looked amazing. He played amazing. Yeah. But I think when you look at the opportunities for him to make plays, I don't think he'll be able to play so far ahead with those leads that he's used to. So we're going to see if he can do it in tight football situations. And he's been able to play a lot of his games in blowouts or games that were well in hand, right? And Harbaugh has a way of leaning on you. Harbaugh has a way of, coming in and taking the crowd out of the game and making it what I call a friendly, offensively friendly game for his guys, the way he simplifies it and try to, I'm not even gonna say steal a game. I think because they're not sneaking in there. I think they're gonna come in and take a game, right? From my perspective.
As we kind of look at the graphic there for the playoff picture, the thing I see with New England, they really don't get a whole bunch of pressure. And see the thing that's been bothering the Chargers have been the amount of pressure because of their offensive line and then the injury to Justin Herbert and his hand. But if you can't get pressure, bro, they got dudes over there that can catch Johnson and Allen and the receivers, man.
McConkey, Ladd, yeah.
And Ladd, McConkey, like they got dudes everywhere. If you're gonna stand back there and let Herbert sling it, this game could be a high-scoring game. The Chargers have the better defense. They have that zone concept where they sit on everything and they do not let you they don't let you get anything. Once they put 2 dudes on the roof and cover you up, you're not getting anything deep. Okay, so that's out. So I see a lot of different ways in this game in which Harbaugh and his style can be an absolute menace to the Patriots. And the thing is the Patriots have not been playing any tough teams. And it's almost like when you're riding a bicycle, that's all you seem like you feel like you're going fast. But when you got to get on the highway and you on a bicycle, you're looking around, cars is flying. And I don't think they've been playing a tough enough schedule, whereas the Chargers have been in the AFC West and they're dealing with their schedule.
Right. I completely agree. And also, and we touched on this a little bit just between you and I. Patriots had a little bit of outside noise that you probably don't want to go into the playoffs with too, just off the field stuff. Diggs, I think the guys Barrymore, the defensive lineman there has some things and some allegations brought up against them to where, you know, it lets you in and kind of clues you in and say, hey, you know, where are these guys head at coming into the playoffs? Have things been so easy to where they're looking at it from, hey, man, we just kind of cruising, right? They haven't had adversity. And as much as it's a situation where I feel like, you know, we talked about building a playoff callus through adversity. Yeah, it helps because you're getting you're getting a tight game, you're getting these playoff moments, and you've been cruising or ahead or haven't had that type of what I call, like you say, speed of pace and having to react and respond. Yeah, you don't want to learn on that stage. That ain't the time to be learning, right? No. So I agree. We also got breaking news, man. Breaking news. Rams already up 14-0 on the Carolina Panthers. So what we said, we got timestamps, guys. We're not lying. When we said we thought the Rams would go in and jump on them, I still think Carolina might climb into it, but the Rams are ahead right now.
And that's the concern with Carolina. The way that they can beat you does not lend to playing behind multiple scores and stuff because they won't. The difference is, against Miami, they kept running and stuff like that, and it worked. The Rams won't afford that because they can continue to pile up the points the way they and they can run the ball too. It's a whole different ball of wax than the situation with Miami when you was down 17 points and got back into it. So
one thing they could do, which is get down early and fast, they've already done. So you know, you're digging your way out of a hole. Hopefully they can. And I want to say actually they're on the road. I take that back. Yeah, I think we did say that. Rams on the road and they're doing their thing. So all right, I didn't mean to disrupt you, but I think with the Chargers, getting back to the Chargers Patriots, I like the Chargers. I like what they're made of. I think, you know, last year I think they lost to the Texans in a disappointing game. They went into Houston. They had that game won, and Herbert played terrible. That was probably his worst game of the year. I don't think he threw more than 3 picks all year. I think he threw 2 or 3 in that game alone.
He turned over a lot.
Yeah. So I'm expecting them to try to get this ship righted, and I'm taking the Chargers.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And the middle game, I think tomorrow is the Eagles hosting the San Francisco 49ers.
Your favorite team, man, the Eagles.
Look, you know how I feel about this. If they could both play in 5 quarters and end up with a tie, and commissioner tell both of them that they look so bad and neither one of them advanced, I would be perfectly happy with that. Hey. But you know, going to this game, I think the backdrop is simple. You know, the San Francisco 49ers are actually a wounded and bad defensive team. Yes. Saleh has gotten the most out of them because he's an excellent coach, but they are a beat-up team, and the Eagles are getting Lane Johnson back. So it's as simple as, will the Eagles be able to impose their will physically and just control this game and not let San Francisco get off the field? They couldn't stop you all when y'all went out to Levi Stadium. You know, they could not stop Seattle from running the ball a couple of weeks ago. And so can San Francisco stop Philadelphia and when they're being physical and stuff like that? I think San Francisco can run the ball and control it, but I don't know if they can get the stops that they need to send Philadelphia home. And ironically, Shanahan struggles. He's a front runner. He does not do well.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yep. I think that's the part I'm hoping, and for my own selfish reasons, and I'm not trying to peek ahead. I don't want to peek ahead, but I would prefer San Francisco to win.
Me too.
If we couldn't get a tie, because I want them flying east or into the Midwest, you know, back-to-back weeks, and I also, you know, want a little get back from that game on Sunday night. When they were, and Purdy decided to brush up on his Dougie, man. Yeah.
And they're the less healthy team also. So the reality is at some point you feel like you know, their candle wick is going to run out because they are a wounded team.
Soft tissue injuries and 5-hour flights normally don't end well, right? So as many 4-5-hour flights we can get them on, and then Purdy, like I said, Mr. Dougie himself, dancing, prancing, dancing, and embarrassed us. And so I would love for those guys to Dougie their inflamed bodies, their jet lag bodies right into Soldier Field for us to take them on. But sticking to this game, I almost look at this one as a toss-up, man, because the Eagles, they have been in disarray all year. They haven't looked like themselves. Sometimes you talked about it, when you play as many high stakes games as they played, and when you've had such long seasons the last 2-3 years,
hard to get back.
It's hard to get back up every game. And I think this is one where the expectations, even them going into the playoffs, this is quiet as I've heard a lot of Philly fans be. This is as quiet as I've heard pundits being high on them. I don't know. I still think, they're hosting a home game and it's Philly. I could easily see them winning this game. I could also easily see San Francisco coming in and putting it on them and walking out with a victory, just because for the defensive side of the football for the Eagles has been under a lot of duress because their offense just hasn't been able to get going. They got a ton of miles on them. And I'm wondering if they can, as much as Shanahan, I agree Shanahan struggles, has struggled with their schemes and with Fangio in the past. I'm a little bit concerned more with the Jimmies and the Joes, more so than the X's and the O's. That Eagles defense has been very, very, very soft in their mindset, and they haven't been as stout and as tough as we've normally seen them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're certainly on to something, and the way they execute with San Francisco is running that offense, to peak proficiency, man, they can be a nightmare. It's almost like they got dudes coming, and they're healthier on offense now. I will say they beat up on defense, but they get Williams back. They get
Kittle, George Kittle.
You get Kittle's healthy, and Ricky, I pronounce it Pearsall. Yeah. All right, so I couldn't get his name out, but he rested the week before, so if they can impose their will and run it behind McCaffrey and stuff, Philadelphia won't be on the field on offense. They won't, because San Francisco just go up and down the field, and Philadelphia's defense is good. They're not Seattle good. Seattle is a whole animal. Yes. Yeah. You do not want that smoke, bro. You don't. The fight Mike McDonald's, them dudes are serious over the defensive side of the ball. But they have more holes. So that game is going to be fascinating to watch. Mm-hmm. Both franchises have a lot of pressure on them, to keep things going. We talked about Philadelphia from a financial standpoint. Their rent is about to come due on them. So if they don't continue this going, they need to win while they can, because it's coming due.
Yeah, and when we talk about, I think you're doing a great job of hitting on the football side of things. I'm touching on the entertainment and some of the narratives behind it. Remember, Purdy came into Philly a couple of years ago and ended up getting hurt, right? Yep. And the elbow. So I think he's coming back in. He wants to Dougie a little bit in Philly too, in the link. So and as much as And as much as I hated it, I thought about it. I said, the 49ers are coming in super confident. They were probably a game away from, being able to win that division and be the number one seed, right? Yeah. And they also did it with a bunch of injuries, and they were able to survive them, right? The schedule is a little soft too, but at the end of the day, they are who they are. So, they're not coming in scared. They know the Eagles very well. Yeah. And we'll see what Vic Fangio and the Shanahan matchup is going to produce, and who's going to come out on top in that one. But I'm actually going to go with San Francisco in that game. I want San Francisco to win that one.
I want San Francisco to win that game. I'm going to say that the Eagles will win the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I ain't gonna lose a whole bunch of sleep over that because I don't want to see that damn boombox no more either. So they can keep that in the damn locker room too, right? So
I think Debo got it in Park right now. He had a brunch right now. What time is he? He just leaving brunch right now. Debo just had his third meal, man.
The one thing we know about Debo is he's not missing no meals in the offseason. So he will be 100% all accounted for on meals with Debo Samuels over there in Washington. So
HMSA Sports Academy consulting business booming. What do we say about the Commanders? What do we say? What do they need to do? Get rid of that hoodwink, cat in the hat offense. Yeah. And as sure as we said it, that was the underlying issue. Yep. When Dan Quinn and their brass looked around, they're like, holy crap, man. We have a quarterback who's 200 pounds soaking wet, and a majority of our offense is built around the illusion of him running the football.
That's right.
And we can't do this for another 5 years. He won't make it.
He won't make it, man. And that's the thing with the NFL, bro. We're gonna give you 1 year where you can fool us with this stuff, and you can look at it through the VR all you want, but at the end of the when we get the film on you, it's not going to happen. And it just that was a house of cards if I ain't never seen one. And no pun intended, because their offensive coordinator was a card.
Yeah.
So that whole thing fell apart. They had to get him up out of there. Kingsbury and stuff, because we already saw they're an old team.
Yeah.
And they spent a lot of money. Someone in their brass told them that they were close because they made it to that NFC Championship game.
Went all in.
And so they went all in, signing people like they bring back.
You got Debo Samuels, first of all, which was a hefty price to pay for a guy.
And what's the linebacker they have that's going to the Hall of Fame?
You're talking about I can picture his face, man. I want to say Warner or something, but it's not Warner. It's oh man, we'll get it. But along
with the Von Millers of the world, you know what I'm saying? Like those guys, man, those guys are long over the hill, man. So they went all in, and Samuel and Von Miller. And those types do. Bobby Wagner is the linebacker.
Bobby Wagner, there you go. Yeah.
So, you bringing those guys in, man. Them guys is in their mid to late 30s, and you bringing them guys in. So anyway, let's get to this last game on Sunday and get to the game on Monday. We got the Bills going to Jacksonville. This is a wonderful game right here, man. You got the offensive line of Buffalo, and the way they run the football. You got the greatness of Josh Allen. Josh Allen always shows up in the playoffs. Even if the team doesn't win, he always shows up against a hot Jacksonville team that's got a lot of talent. They got some dudes over there on defense. And Prince Lawrence, Trevor is
the golden locks.
Number one overall pick. So what do you see there? Bills going to Jacksonville. Duval.
Hey man, the big thing I'm seeing is, it's do or die for Josh Allen. When I look at this slate of teams in the AFC and quarterbacks that he's facing, they're all newcomers and all guys that he should be able to slay that dragon, right?
No Mahomes.
No Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson. Right now, CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers.
No Burrow.
No Burrow, right? So he's either got, first timers in Drake May and your boy at Mr. Goldilocks himself, Trevor Lawrence, or Bo Nix kind of hanging out in the wings. So I see a team that actually should have the most pressure on them. They're on the road. They're going to Jacksonville, and Mr. Duval, Liam Cohen himself, who we thought. He went out there in Florida, man. He learned how to say Duval and dropped 20 pounds. And all of a sudden, Jacksonville's a damn third seed. And I'm like, hold on. Trevor Lawrence, at the end of the season, they got him an official Florida grill. They made him put the grill in, talking about, you love it when a white boy get motion. So the energy is up in Jacksonville. The chemistry is high. And I'm actually, gonna go Jacksonville, because I think as much as I think Buffalo has at stake, I just don't think they had the horses, man. Defensively, they can't stop a nosebleed. And offensively, for some reason, the Bills have always found a way to, struggle and not play their best. And Duval is Jacksonville is extremely buttoned up. They're well coached. Yeah. And they've gone through a gauntlet of
their whole demeanor of their whole franchise looks different now.
Completely. They went up on the road in Denver and went toe to toe and bloody Denver's nose. And walked out of there, jumped back on the plane, and flew back home. They're made up of the right stuff. They remind me of Seattle Southeast a little bit. When you look at them as far as the size, they don't even have Travis Hunter, which is
their most dynamic player isn't even there, man. The future for Jacksonville looks really good, man.
Yeah, it looks really good. Etienne and Tootin at the running backs, and then the receiving core is sound. Really, this game to me is a game that I feel like Jacksonville should win. Again, this is Cohen's first time as a head coach going into the playoffs with this type of pressure. Also, Trevor Lawrence has a lot of pressure on from being an early, first round generational kind of pick. There's that pressure there to perform well. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think Jacksonville has the better team. I think they're the better outfit.
Yeah.
Josh Allen can't do it by himself. He doesn't have a lot of help on the edges, and that's what I'm really worried about. Keon Coleman, that relationship went sour somewhere, and he was a healthy no scratch for, I want to say, the last 5 out of the last 7 games or something.
Yeah, that's looking like a bust, man.
Looking like a bust. And also the reality is, Buffalo, it's the window. It's cracked, man. It's a slither. And before they lose this game, I think that window shuts, and I think you'll see wholesale changes in Buffalo. So there's that looming. We talk about playoff pressure. Sometimes it ain't just a damn game. It's jobs. It's livelihoods, right? That's right? So we'll see how they respond for their head coach and for that staff to see if they come up and play big football on the road.
I will give Buffalo the puncher's chance because of Josh Allen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that they can run the football. They have the rushing leader. Cook is their offensive line and their ability to run the ball. Now, Buffalo can defend the pass pretty well. They don't defend the run well at all. So I want to see will Jacksonville take advantage of that and run Etienne and not put a lot of pressure on Trevor and play smart, play into their strengths. But I think person for person, man for man, Jimmy's and Joe's, Jacksonville has the better personnel. They just do. And so they're at home. They got the crowd. Buffalo would love to get you up there in Orchard Park somewhere and get you to freeze your balls off, but it's not there. So nice and cozy out there at Duval.
I think the weather forecast was like 70, low 80s, high 70s. So if anything, Buffalo might start cramping up. They a little bit dehydrated.
In January, your body is not used to that type of heat, man, and the humidity in Jacksonville, that could be an issue. Other direction, there's only a couple of teams that have that advantage. The Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville, only a couple of teams down in South Florida that have that type of advantage at this time of year, where the heat can be in your favor, and so forth. You'll see, but I'm excited, man. These matchups are amazing. They're so good. With the way they fell out, and then we cap this off. What should be a pretty good rock fight on Monday night between.
Hold on. Before you do, breaking news. Rams 17, Panthers 7.
All right. Okay.
17-7. So Carolina answered back, got it to 14-7, and then Rams just answered back with another field goal, which you said they can keep scoring, right? So they got to get stops.
That's the difference is there. So I think Carolina's got to feel like, okay, we get to the fourth quarter and be within, no more than 10 points, right?
Right.
And still have a chance. And maybe we didn't bloody them up a little bit. Maybe they gas out or something like that. So we'll see. We're going to get off here soon and imagine and view the second half of this game.
Yeah. Monday night.
Monday night matchup here, man. The fighting Mike Tomlins, man. The guy never has a losing season. He did it again.
Hey, man, as soon as the kick went right,
look, blowing kisses. You know what I'm saying? Blowing kisses. I heard they had the clergymen down there in the end zone.
Lord have mercy, man. They had a great on X. They had a great picture. It was the field goal post, and in the middle it says Tomlin gets fired. On the right side it said Harbaugh gets fired, and on the left side it says Harbaugh gets fired. Right? And sure enough, man, the Luke, man, he misses the kick. And that game was so emotional. I want to say 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter. Yeah. And Harbaugh is the anti-aggressor. And they get the ball on the 20-yard line. He actually tells Lamar Jackson to lose 4 yards and take a knee in a windy-ass stadium in Pittsburgh and put all that pressure. I know 44 yards doesn't sound like much to an NFL kicker. But you put me in a stadium with 75,000 people screaming and the weight of us going to the playoffs on my shoulders. Yeah. And that kick wasn't even close, man. That kid kicked it, and it was going right as soon as it went off his foot. So
I mean, why not with 14 seconds left? Why not take that ball
and a timeout?
Right, and just run Derrick Henry right up the middle. Get what you can. Hell, run Lamar Jackson on a quarterback draw or even a push, even a draw, just a quarterback sneak and get you 2 or 3 yards.
Yes.
In the other direction. So instead of having a 4, even if it's just 39, mentally it's a 3 instead of a 4.
So fun fact, going from a 44-yard field goal to 39, I think your chances increase of like 10%. Of making that field goal. So with every yard, it started straight and it tailed off. He may have hit that a little bit better at 39 yards, and it don't tail off, and he might have got that thing to sneak in. Correct. Before you get there, and that's all that matters, man. And Harbaugh's a special teams guy. Like, I'm surprised with that. You know what I mean? I'm surprised that he gave those yards away. Man, when you at the end and you're just trying to hold on and you try not to, when you're coaching and playing, not to lose and, not to what I call put your team in the best situation, it always comes back to bite you. The playoffs, and that was a playoff style game. I know it wasn't an official playoff game, but the implications were that of a playoff game. Yeah. Oftentimes you can't hide your warts, man. And all year, and not all year, I'll say for the last few years, there's been a lot of questions with Harbaugh and how he's coached these games, right? Yeah. And in that moment, it came back to bite him to where he tried to get go conservative, and it ended up costing him. And Tomlin, on the other hand, somehow, some way, Mike Tomlin always finds his way into the playoffs. Yeah. And as much as we want to, talk about Rodgers being washed up and kind of at the end of the line, I will say this, man. Texans are jumping on a plane and they're going into Pittsburgh, and they have what I call the ultimate equalizer, which is that defense, right? Yeah. That travels well.
Yes, right.
So my heart and my mind, my football mind tells me the Texans should win this one pretty handily. And, I would say a 7 to 10 point win in my eyes, just because of the youth, the talent level of the roster, and the coaching, I think is leaning towards
on that
everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But Rodgers and Tomlin, they have a way around. And I told you when they beat, I forgot who they beat, but it was Tomlin, Hayward, and Aaron Rodgers, and they're walking off the field like they're about to do a damn WWE promo. And we the best in the business. The bravado, can they get it up for one game? We played the Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember they lost Metcalf the last 2 games.
That's right. They get him back.
They get Metcalf back. They coming in
with Gainwell and Warren. Like, they run the football well.
Washington, a 300-pound tight end who, I think they're going to turn this game into a slugfest. And they're going to, like we said, they're going to shut the lights out in the club and the bar. And they're going, hey, y'all want to come out in the alley? They're going to go out and knock the street lights out. Yeah. And they just going to start swinging, man. And I don't know if the Texans, you earn the right to rush the quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers gets rid of the ball so quickly. That's his one gift, right? Not his one. That's one of his many gifts where he can neutralize a great pass rush with his strength, which is his superpower is getting that ball out so quickly. So it'll be interesting to see. This is another styles make fight kind of games. Yeah. But with Pittsburgh at home and Houston having to, go on the road and they're not on turf. I know Houston Lou. I don't want to. He called me when we talked about our playoff fears together, so I won't disclose my sources, Houston Lou, because I don't want to lose credibility in this whole podcast world, this whole podcast game. But one of the things he talked about and we talked about was weather, right? Yeah, and whether that was wind, whether that was you know how it is in Pittsburgh coming out that lake, man. They got some funky weather out there too at Heinz Field, so it's a slow track. It kind of leans a slow track would lean to Pittsburgh, and also I think the when you talk about experience, I think they bring a ton of it with that roster, man. They got a lot of vets.
A lot of vets, man. A lot of vets. Hayward and Freiermuth and DK
Ramsey.
DK Gainwell just won a Super Bowl with Philly. They got dudes there. So that game is going to be like you said, a fight in the back alley with the lights out. The only thing that's missing is if they had Mark Sanchez to do the game, because he liked the alley. He liked to be back there in the
Hey man. Oh man.
They need to bring Sanchez back for this one before a special one. You know what I'm saying?
Man, if the NFL really wanted those type of ratings, man, they should bring them back, man. Mark, man.
Brought to you by Sanchez, man. This alley, this bar fight.
We still don't know what the hell happened with that situation. That's one of the craziest situations ever, man.
I put a thumbnail in it, though. I ain't forgot. I've not forgot.
All right. We got one more, and I got a good question for you. Which playoff team feels the most battle-tested right now, and why does that matter in January football?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. And I looked at a couple of teams, obviously we got a lot of young teams. There's a lot of young quarterbacks and teams such as your Bears, Denver, even though their coach is not is very, very battle tested. Their coach is, but their team is not. So you got some young teams. The Jacksonville Jaguars are an ascending team. Chargers are an ascending team. Young, obviously the Patriots have been out for a while, even though their coach has been experienced and stuff like that. But to me, I got a couple of teams. Actually, obviously Philly, they just won the championship. So they got a whole roster of guys who just did it a year ago, and they went to the Super Bowl a couple of years before that too. So they got to be at the top of the list, and then Buffalo, man. Like Buffalo, like you don't have Burrow, you don't have Mahomes, you don't have Lamar. By the way, if I could have put $1,000 on the Chiefs, the Commanders, and the Ravens to not make the playoffs, man, I'd be driving a yacht to work. Man, I would so much money.
Be rich, right?
Balling, bro. Did you understand?
Speaking of, man, next year, because we did hit on a few that we were very confident in. So next year, I'm gonna fly out west. I'm gonna come see you before the season. I'm going into Caesar's Palace or MGM, and we're gonna put a few bets down so we can. Yeah, so we can start taking, because we called a few of those. But you're right. I wouldn't have thought the Ravens, Bengals, Chiefs, all would have missed the playoffs, man. That was surprising. Yeah,
it's very surprising, and so, you know, the bottom line is Buffalo, man. This is an opportunity with a lot of young quarterbacks. Now, I feel like your team is flawed, but you're playing a lot of other young quarterbacks. And I think if you ask the fans, would they rather have a flawed team playing a bunch of young quarterbacks or a loaded team with Mahomes and Lamar? And
True.
I think they'd rather have Lamar and Mahomes at home resting, and they got this opportunity to get in there and do some damage. But you know, it's not going to be easy going up to Jacksonville. But I think I would say Philadelphia, the 49ers have, you know, coaching experience and McCaffrey, but some of their most seasoned players are injured. You know, you get Trent Williams coming back. You know, he's a Hall of Famer, but you don't have Warner. You know, you're missing your other defense. You don't have Bosa. I mean, these guys have been in the wars, man. They've been doing it for a long time. So I'm not going to say San Francisco, even though they got a lot of experience. And then the Rams, you know, man, you know, they're a young team. We look at them as a very nouveau, you know, very flashy type of team. But, you know, they won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Their coach is young, but he's tested, and Matthew Stafford's got the skins on the wall.
Right. Man, very well said. And I'm gonna actually take another team, and I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh.
And the reason why I'm saying the Seattle Seahawks is I just went back and reflected on who they played all year.
Yeah.
They played Kansas City. They played the Texans. They played the Jags. They had to deal with the Rams twice, and they had to deal with the 49ers twice.
Wow.
And McDonald, coming from the Ravens, we touched on the Ravens.
Yeah.
If the Ravens could go back in history, I think they keep McDonald. It would have been a tough choice.
Yep.
And they would have let Harbaugh walk in a very
This last week.
Man. It would have been such a polarizing and controversial decision at the time.
People would have thought he was crazy.
Right. But when you think around who was the engine behind the Ravens the last, I say, 2 or 3 years while they were making these runs, he was a huge piece of that, man.
Yep.
So when you look at they played the Steelers as well, and I just think when talk about a team that looks great when they get off the bus, and talk about, you know, Sam Darnold, who went to Minnesota, who got a great, you know, indoctrination from KOC on how to play elite football at the quarterback position. And then he goes to what I think is the perfect situation. I know he laid an egg last year in the playoffs, which I think is going to help him this year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
To settle in and kind of
that Minnesota team was a little bit of fool's gold, and they thought the Rams exposed them.
Yeah.
The Seattle team is much more able to insulate Sam Darnold and allow.
And that was my point. This team really works to his strengths, which is he can not take the chances that I think he felt he had to take in Minnesota to win a game. Yeah. We saw it when they played the Rams a few weeks back, and they got down early, and they clawed their way back in the game and ended up winning. I want to say either in overtime.
It was overtime.
Right? Yeah, in overtime. And I really think from a you know, they got home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yep.
The only thing that I'm looking at, and I'll show the viewers too, and this is where the playoffs get scary, man. If the Rams win, that's who they play, right? A divisional opponent. Ends up being their first game out, and everybody has a boogeyman. Everybody got a team they don't want to deal with.
That's right.
This is a situation where they would get the Rams for the third time in the season at home.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. And they're angry and they're upset. So you can't run, you can't hide, even if you're the number one seed. At some point, you got to go through some, what I call anxiety and some adversity.
Yeah.
But Seattle is set up, I think, from a roster perspective, from a coaching perspective, and from a home field advantage perspective. I personally think to make a deep run in the playoffs. And I just like what they're made of, man. They're tough. You don't hear a lot of talking coming from them. And they have a lot of what I call just well-rounded pieces that fit together on both sides. All three phases, really. All three phases have some really good pieces that work for them.
Yeah, they're a scary team, man. You know, JSN, you know, at the receiver core. Cooper Kupp's got a ton of experience. He got a lot of skins on the wall also. You know, that you know, Kenneth Walker, the running game.
Charbonnet, or whatever his name is.
They got a really, really good field goal kicker.
Tight ends, Barner, and then they got your boy from University of Miami, who just came in, real talented kid as well. So, man, I didn't mean to step on you there. I just think they got like I said, that when you go back and kind of look at this roster, the only weakness of this roster is the offensive line, and somehow they mask it very well. You know, you wouldn't think that they're as bad off as they are.
I mean,
when you look at the metrics,
they physically ran the ball against San Francisco. You know what I mean? And just pushed them off the ball, so that was impressive. So, I you know, and I love that selection with Seattle. My only thing with them is, you know, like you said, Donald hasn't had a whole bunch of playoff experience, and Donald, the head coach, you know, this is only his second year, you know, and so he hasn't done a whole bunch in the playoffs. As far as this year and being battle tested, and as far as, you know, some of the dudes on their team, I mean, Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence, you know, they just got dudes, man. And
they got a lot of dudes, and then they actually are the living proof, because Seattle ended up parting ways with Pete Carroll. They made the tough decision. Get McDonald in there.
That's right.
So, you know, with our you know, analysis of what we thought the Ravens should do, the Seahawks actually did it.
That's right.
And it produced the number one seed, and, you know, kind of launched Seattle into this. They have a really, 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 what I call, they balanced the books out nicely too, from a salary cap standpoint. They drafted well. They've done some really good things to build in Seattle. So any given Sunday, like we said, but when you look at Seattle, I think, you know, they probably had the most skins on the wall, the toughest division when you really look at it holistically, you know, as to who got in the playoffs. They had to go through the toughest division. So I feel like they'll be ready to go.
You know what's interesting is that you know, everyone looks at you know, Pete Carroll, because he's in his, you know, early 70s, and how, you know, how much, you know, he's an older coach, obviously, up there. And then they'll say, well, but John Harbaugh is, you know, that's not his situation. John Harbaugh is like 64 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? And so for him, like he's been in that seat for 18 seasons. You know what I mean? And so so the reality is that he's getting up there too. He just looks younger. He looks better put together and stuff at this point. So making a change from McDonald wouldn't have been bad. You know, almost 20 seasons of the same coach.
You know? It's tough. It's tough, and Tomlin kind of falls in that category. You get to a point where I think with these organizations, there's an expiration date on everything, right? As much as we want to keep, there's not Tom Landry. When you look at it, he just pops up in my head. I know he had an unceremonious kind of exit out of Dallas, right? I think Chuck Noll kind of went out how he wanted to go out. But I say all that to say there's few coaches that were able to last that long.
That's right.
They kind of go out the way they wanted to go out, or before that message got stale, right? And eventually they went on to another team.
we're not saying Harbaugh, he's gonna be a head coach pretty soon here. He's gonna get another shot. We just talking with the same team. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. And the reality is the Ravens, I think, had gotten to a point to where sometimes you just you get so much turnover because of your success.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of, coaches. And that was one thing Harbaugh was stuck on. That's the reason why he left. He didn't want to get rid of his assistant coaches. He wanted to run it back. And
a lot of people say he went down with Monken. Monken was his
Monken. Yeah, that was his guy.
He stayed on with him, and he kind of went down with that ship. So it happens, man. It happens. But this has been great. It's very exciting here. We're gonna look at the second half of the game.
I'm glad we did it, man. It took my mind off my damn Packers and Bears game, so I got a little bit of anxiety out of me. I got to talk about it, so that's good.
Yeah. No, I feel good. I feel good about you guys being able to pull. Like I said, the Packers got a little boogeyman in them, but honestly, you guys are the healthier team. You're at home. Yeah. Your quarterback's playing well. You're supposed to. You're the 2 seed, so go ahead on and close these dudes out, man. Send them packing. No pun intended. So, we're gonna wrap this up and close this out. We'll be back to recap these games and see what the division round looks like. This is very exciting. We'll get back on the track with Dallas and their head coaching. Their DC coach.
Man, why you do Flus like that, man? Y'all fire Flus, man. Why you do Flus like that?
He had to let old Flus loose, man. It's loose. Had to get him his papers, man. So. We'll get into more of that as the headlines start to show them, reveal themselves with that as well.
Right.
But let's close this out, man. We'll be back, and appreciate you as always. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like this content. We'll be continuing to add more content as we kind of wind down to the NFL season. We start to get into the off season. We start to pick up the pace with the NBA. Start talking Lakers and all those things. So we got a lot going forward. We're looking forward to it. And as always, we appreciate you here at HMSA.
We do.
My name is Mo. This is Harry. And we are out. You guys have a great evening.